of our turning point, let's say family, but I want you guys all to see the Medal of Freedom and be able to look at it in the back of it. You guys are all part of the legacy. So the ending on the back, it's the first and last time they'll put a cross on it. I literally will stand here so all of you guys like I don't care. Everyone can have their moment and see.
Yeah, one second, okay? Thank you.
This is Erika Kirk. She's smiling, laughing, and proudly showing off the Medal of Freedom like it's a personal victory moment. But online, people are side-eyeing the clip big time. The vibe just feels off to a lot of viewers. Body language experts even slowed that same footage down frame by frame, and their analysis left people frozen. Now, the real question everyone's whispering is this. Is this how someone acts after losing their spouse in such a high-profile way? Or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes that the public just can't see yet? No one's trying to dictate how grief should look. Everyone processes loss differently. But let's be real. The optics here? Wild enough to start a full-on internet debate. Charlie Kirk was a major figure in conservative circles. Young, fiery, always pushing his message with nonstop energy. Whether you liked him or not, you felt his presence. That's why the sudden change in tone surrounding his death feels so strange to people who've been following closely. Erika appeared on camera just days after his unexpected passing. And sure, there's no correct way to mourn, but a lot of people picked up on a weird disconnect between the tragedy and her behavior on screen. Joe Rogan, never one to skip over odd details, called out the shaky timeline, the official story, and a bunch of inconsistencies that just don't line up. He's not claiming to have the full truth. He's just saying the puzzle pieces don't fit. And that's what's fueling all the buzz right now. Multiple body language analysts studied Erika's gestures, expressions, and pacing, and while they didn't make final claims, their observations definitely raised eyebrows. The patterns they found are only adding more fuel to the growing scrutiny.
Spark more scrutiny. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know.
And a guy wrote, this guy got what he deserved. No, he didn't. He had open debates. That takes courage. So if you didn't agree with him, you could come and speak. What's wrong with
Bottom line, this isn't about accusing anyone. It's about the questions that keep multiplying with every new clip and every new expert take. Stay sharp, because the next piece of footage could flip the entire narrative in a heartbeat. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what Joe Rogan found strange about how this whole situation's being handled. From expert body language reads to real-world comparisons of how spouses usually act in moments of deep loss. And yeah, we'll even touch on why the internet started calling Erika the happy widow. But before we dive into Erika's behavior, you've got to understand the chain of events that built up to this moment.
Kid who's not military trained. This guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs. You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane. So he's on the roof. He shoots. He jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Yeah, we saw didn't they have video of him jump? Somebody had a cell phone video of him jumping.
There's
down,
a video
right?
of him jumping. So this guy, whoever it is, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy. Maybe he did it.
I feel like he's a plant. Did you see the video? Did you see the person doing the investigating on his mom's Facebook?
No.
You haven't seen this? Have you seen that, Jamie? Some dude online.
His mom's got a weird Facebook.
It's
spill coffee.
Very trippy. It doesn't make any sense.
Because the more you lay out the timeline around Charlie Kirk, the weirder it gets. And that's where Joe Rogan steps in, focused, direct, and not just headline skimming. He's testing claims, picking apart details, and highlighting moments that flat out clash with logic. Then he brings up something wild. Apparently, there was this older man who showed up at the scene, started yelling, "I did it! I did it!" And then, out of nowhere, dropped his pants. Joe points out that this conveniently kills any chance of a serious interview or clean follow-up. Suddenly, timelines blur and facts fog up. Then comes his next big question. How is it that this same guy reportedly popped up in other bizarre, connected moments? Statistically, that's sketchy as hell. And then comes the biggest head-scratcher. The official story claims the suspect was a 21-year-old using an old World War I relic with no serial code. Supposedly, he disassembled it, packed it in a bag, climbed to a rooftop, reassembled it, and executed a perfect operation. No errors. No witnesses. No sound. Bro, that's not just suspicious. That's cinematic.
Our turning point, let's say family, but I want you guys all to see the Medal of Freedom and be able to look at it in the back of it. This is all, you guys are all part of the legacy. Is there anybody can see it? So, and then on the back, it's the first and last time I put it.
That's why people are demanding full clarity. No speculation, no filler, just facts. Now, Joe Rogan's not your average commentator when it comes to weapons. The man knows his mechanics. So when he broke down that official version, he didn't hold back. He explained how taking apart and reassembling that kind of antique firearm isn't something a random college kid could pull off. You'd need serious training, the right tools, and a lot of time. Even a pro would take hours to do it cleanly. Then there's the access issue. How'd this guy even get to that rooftop? No security, no drone surveillance, no barriers? It's like the setup was written by someone who's never been near a real operation. Joe straight up said, the whole thing sounds impossible, like someone intentionally designed it to confuse people. And that's when he dropped the mic with this line. If you wanted the public to stop trusting any investigation, this is exactly how you do it. But while everyone was wrapped up in the theories and timelines, something else started grabbing attention. Erika Kirk's behavior after Charlie's death. Just days later, she showed up at Turning Point USA's HQ, smiling, composed, and giving off motivational speaker energy. It wasn't what people expected to see from someone grieving a spouse. Frame by frame, viewers dissected her expressions. She wasn't just holding it together. She looked happy, genuine, glowing even. Proudly holding Charlie's Medal of Freedom, talking about carrying on his legacy with a spark in her eyes. Of course, everyone handles trauma differently. Maybe she was staying strong for the team. Maybe she was still processing it all. But compared to how most people act in the first week of loss, the contrast was impossible to ignore.
She seems really upbeat, really happy, only days after her husband was assassinated. That looks like smiles. That looks like laughing and happiness and joy. So many people notice this. Erika was laughing right after her husband was assassinated. No, I'm not saying she's celebrating. I'm saying...
Then came the viral comment that summed up the internet's mood perfectly. Everyone grieves differently, but no one grieves like her. That one line blew up, spreading across every platform because it put words to what everyone else was quietly thinking. But things didn't stop there. Another clip surfaced, this time showing Erika arriving at an event, wiping her face and looking emotional. At first glance, it seemed like a raw, human moment. But as people rewatched it, the mood shifted. Commenters started pointing out that something about her expressions didn't feel like genuine sadness, more like staged emotion. And that's when theories started spinning out of control.
Excited. It's weird to say excited, but it's also very surreal to say it because I know that God will use all of this in a way that will glorify him, further Charlie's legacy, and Charlie's up in heaven just having...
He's rooting us on. I know that.
He's so rooting us on.
Yeah.
And of course, the internet did what it always does. It blew up. Comment sections flooded with takes calling the moment bad acting, rehearsed tears, and even Oscar-level fakery. People started making side-by-side edits comparing Erika's expressions to movie scenes where actors fake cry for dramatic impact. Now, to be clear, this isn't about hating or mocking grief. It's about that weird, hard-to-explain disconnect so many viewers felt while watching. Something about it just didn't feel genuine. You know that gut instinct when your brain can't pin down the reason, but your stomach's already screaming, something's off here. That's exactly what people were feeling. But hey, maybe everyone's wrong. Maybe this is just how Erika processes pain and stress when the cameras are rolling.
Very much a real smile. The way that the eyes wrinkle, the way that the corners of the mouth go up, that all matches what would be a legitimate smile. So when people are saying, is she acting? Not right here, she isn't. That seems to be actual. She actually feels good right there.
A way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams alive and his legacy.
And then afterwards, she says, keeps his dreams alive. When she raised her eyebrows, she wants you to understand she is planning on keeping his dreams alive. That's something she's actually feeling as she's talking about it. Because when we raise our eyebrows, it brings attention to our face. And that's what she's focused on. You have to think so much of this is unconscious. So it's not like if she's trying to perform in some way that she could fake all of these things. What she's saying right now really does seem to be tied into how she's feeling.
First, and his dreams.
Because, yeah, people do grieve differently. So, let's zoom out for a sec. If everyone's going to question her reactions, then it's only fair to look at how authentic, raw grief usually shows up in public moments. Think back to when Kobe Bryant passed away. The entire world saw emotion that couldn't be faked. Vanessa Bryant, who lost both her husband and daughter in that unthinkable helicopter tragedy, showed a level of heartbreak that hit everybody right in the chest. She didn't rush to the spotlight or try to keep up appearances. She stayed quiet, private, and when she did finally speak, it was pure, undeniable pain.
Have consistency, the members.
So we will have consistency. She really wants people to understand this. And that's what's interesting and what's different about when she's talking about this relative to some of what she's talked about before. So we're seeing a difference in body language here and what we saw at the beginning. At the beginning, she was connecting with the other people in the room, sharing stories, talking about Charlie, feeling good. Now she's talking about continuing the legacy of Turning Point USA and the Charlie Kirk Show. There is an intensity here. I think this is something she feels very strongly about. And so you're not seeing the smiles and the warmth in the same way at this point. And that's not being critical. I think that's just...
You could see it. The trembling voice, the tears, the emptiness in her eyes. It wasn't about putting on a show. It was just real. That's grief. That's loss. And that's exactly why people started doing side-by-side comparisons between Vanessa and Erika. On one side, Vanessa Bryant, barely holding it together, breaking down mid-sentence, showing the kind of heartbreak that doesn't need explanation. On the other, Erika Kirk, bright smile, upbeat tone, talking about projects ahead and exciting new plans just days after losing her husband. The difference? Absolutely jarring. It wasn't subtle. It hit like a full-on shockwave. And that's when the internet gave her the nickname that started trending everywhere, the Happy Widow. Yeah, harsh? Maybe. But when those clips played side by side, it wasn't just gossip. People felt the contrast deep down.
We're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Cringy.
We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening. What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us.
Yes.
And it is going to be continually the North Star of the conservative movement, of the voice of the youth, of the voice of the base, and that will not end.
All right, so earlier we talked about incongruity, and sometimes that means when something is incongruent with the environment, but other times it's an incongruity between someone's words and behaviors. And people who are very empathetic are extremely sensitive to that type of mismatch. They notice it pretty much immediately. This is why I believe this moment that we just looked at, and a few more like it, didn't sit well with some people.
Viewers couldn't unsee it. The emotional gap was that wide. It left people uneasy, like something just didn't line up. Now, to be fair, there's no official playbook for grief. Everyone handles loss differently. Some shut down completely, others dive into work, and some smile through the pain just to survive. But what struck people about Erika wasn't just that her response was different. It was that it seemed completely disconnected from sorrow. No tears. No visible struggle. Just confidence, composure, and excitement for what's next. That's what set off the online storm. People weren't trying to judge her as a person. They were just asking, is she even grieving? And then came the plot twist no one saw coming. After Charlie's death, someone had to step in and take over Turning Point USA. And that someone was Erika Kirk herself.
Erika Kirk's behavior is unsettling as fuck. It's not conveying real grief, it's conveying performance. It's giving uncanny valley. Like, this woman came out on stage to pyrotechnics, timing her body language and her crying to the music. Then she gives a speech that comes off as more of a piece of performance art than it does as an expression of real grief. And when you look at that woman's face, there is not a single tear streaming down that woman's face. There is not a single smudge of makeup out of place. She's making it look like she's crying, but she's not really crying. So yeah, the whole thing is unsettling.
Taking over your late partner's entire organization would crush most people. It's heavy, emotional, overwhelming. But the way Erika Kirk stepped into that role, totally different energy. She wasn't trembling or hesitant. She was focused, upbeat, almost celebratory. It's like she'd already turned the page while everyone else was still stuck on the last chapter. Just listen to her tone for a second. She's talking about hosting the show, continuing Charlie's work, keeping his message alive, and she says it with zero hesitation. Her voice doesn't shake. It's confident. Then she drops that word again and again. I'm excited. Even she admits it's strange to use that word right now, but she repeats it anyway, smiling through the sentence. And that's the moment that really hit people. Because, yeah, excited isn't what most folks expect to hear when someone's just lost their husband. Then she shifts gears into full momentum mode, talking about how blessed they are, how many new projects are coming down the pipeline, how bright the future looks. Through it all, her energy stays lively, almost like she's announcing a launch, not talking about a personal tragedy. That clip went viral fast. TikTok jumped on it. Creators started stitching her interviews, analyzing her word choices, tone, and steady smile. The general read? This doesn't look like grief. This looks like promotion energy. It wasn't an accusation, but it was a first impression, and first impressions online? They stick. Especially when emotions are still raw. Then another clip surfaced where Erika said she'd keep posting on Charlie's social media accounts, keeping his voice alive online. On paper, that sounds like tribute. But for many, it fell off. Is tweeting as someone who's gone really honoring their legacy? Or does it cross into tone-deaf territory? The internet split instantly. Some said it was beautiful, keeping his mission alive. Others called it unsettling, like refusing to let go. And that's when real experts started weighing in. Enter Dr. G, a body language analyst known for professional reads. She studied hours of Erika's footage, frame by frame, tracking micro-expressions, eye movement, breathing patterns, smile symmetry, and gestures. She didn't make any bold accusations, but she did explain why so many viewers felt emotionally disconnected watching Erika. Her biggest observation? Something called the Duchenne smile, a genuine, unfiltered smile you can't fake. It lights up your whole face, not just your lips. Cheeks lift, eyes crinkle, expression softens naturally. It only shows up when someone's truly feeling joy. And guess what? Dr. G says she saw that exact smile on Erika's face while she was talking about taking over Charlie's role. Let that sink in. Just days after losing her husband, she was showing genuine happiness. Not a forced grin. A real, natural, I'm feeling good type of smile. And that's what made people freeze. It didn't match the rhythm of fresh grief. According to Dr. G, Erika's emotional cues reflected confidence and positivity, not pain or distress. So, was she proud to carry his mission forward? Or was she compartmentalizing in a way most people can't comprehend? Either way, it's unusual. When she began discussing the future of the show, keeping the schedule tight, maintaining structure, her whole body language changed again. She leaned forward, eyes sharp, tone firm. Dr. G said that shift signaled focus and authority, not shock or sadness. It was clear Erika wasn't just continuing Charlie's work.
She was owning it.
And that's what keeps people uneasy. The gap between mourning and management. Dr. G's conclusion matched what the internet already suspected. Erika's emotions didn't mirror early grief. They showed drive, composure, and even satisfaction. Traits that aren't wrong, just not what the public expects right after a tragedy. Then another expert entered the chat, and they took it even deeper. They focused on the same clip, the one where Erika talked about posting as Charlie. This analyst called it emotionally disconnected, maybe even inappropriate given the timing. They explained that pretending to post as someone who's gone can feel unsettling, like refusing to accept reality. To some, it reads as devotion. To others, it crosses into eerie territory, blurring the line between tribute and denial. And that's where the debate really exploded. One expert even said her excitement over posting as him seemed brand-focused, not grief-focused. Their words, not mine. Still, it's worth noting, those are opinions, not facts. Analysts don't read minds.
They just study patterns.
But things got even more intense when a TikTok reviewer with a sharp eye dropped a full frame-by-frame breakdown. They analyzed everything: the stage entrance, the lighting, the camera cuts, even the music timing. And their verdict? The whole thing felt staged. They pointed out how Erika walked out to pyrotechnics and upbeat music during what was supposed to be a memorial. Maybe the event team chose that, not her. But the optics? Still hit loud. Then came the crying sequence. The reviewer timed it second by second and noticed something big: no visible tears. No smudged makeup. No watery eyes. Even under stage lights. They said it looked like the shape of crying, not the reality of it. The sounds and gestures were there, but not the emotion. Like grief performed. They even noted how her movements matched the music, covering her face when the score swelled, lifting her chin when it faded. Almost like choreography. To be fair, they admitted. Maybe she was just cried out. Maybe she'd already wept in private and had nothing left to show publicly. That's possible. But when people stacked that footage next to everything else, the big smiles, upbeat energy, brand talk, excited tone, it all started to feel off. The comments said it all. This doesn't look real. This feels rehearsed. Something's missing. And honestly, that's the vibe that's taken over the internet. Now, it's not just casual gossip. It's a full-on investigation by content creators, analysts, and viewers dissecting every frame.